The story we want to track is that India's big diplomatic coup against Pakistan in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case, with the International Court of Justice a short while ago ruling that Pakistan cannot execute the Indian national till the court delivers a final verdict in the case. Giving its interim order after just 3 days of deliberations, the UN designated court has said that Pakistan must take all measures to ensure Jadhav is not executed before the verdict. The court also said that India has the right under the Vienna Convention to consular access to Jadhav. India had applied, remember, 16 times for access, rejected each time. Justice Ronnie Abraham, the court president, also rejected Pakistan's claim that the court did not have jurisdiction over the matter. The court said that both India and Pakistan were signatories to the Vienna Convention, and that gave the court the right to rule in the matter. In another big blow to Pakistan, the court rejected its contention that there was no urgency in the case. Let's go straight across to Gaurav Sawant, our correspondent, who's been tracking every move at The Hague. Gaurav, now that the judgment is slowly being digested, I'm just getting headlines from the Pakistan newspapers saying Pakistan made a mistake by going to the ICJ. So clearly, or Pakistan messed up its case in the ICJ. So clearly it's advantage India.
Rajdeep, there's a sense of quiet relief in the Indian camp. Pakistan had a messed up case from the moment it abducted an Indian businessman in Iran, showed his arrest in Balochistan, told India about his arrest 23 days late, and did not give India access for over a year, and continues to deny India that access. And yesterday, when I had interviewed Ambassador Mulek, Gunter Mulek of Germany, former German ambassador to Pakistan, he said the word on the ground was that an Indian businessman had been abducted by the Jaish-e-Adal. He, of course, called it the Taliban. Had been abducted by the Taliban and sold to Pakistan's ISI. But that's going into the merits of the case. The sense of relief here is the legal process, Rajdeep. A lot of spade work was done painstakingly. I was in touch not just with Harish Salve, but this entire team that was working day and night, without going home, without sleeping, going through every judgment. Rajdeep, you've done your internship here at the International Court of Justice, and you have the most learned judges from across the world. You can't pull wool over their eyes. Painstaking homework was done from a young intern to the senior most legal mind here, and that is how India won the case on very strong legal footing. And if I may have a moment, Rajdeep, I have a group of young Indians here, some who are practicing law, some who are here as tourists, and some who will tell you little nitty-gritties of what happened behind the scenes. Ma'am, what brings you here?
I'm here visiting my daughter. And when I heard about the case, I came here to witness it.
And you witnessed history?
I witnessed history being made. It's a great moment for India. India should be very, very proud of its representatives at the ICJ.
Oh, absolutely. And there was one thing which really makes, which really stood out in the manner in which India dealt with Pakistan, not just at the international stage, not just there, but even in interpersonal interaction. What was that?
Yeah, about the Mittal, actually that day we have seen, Dr. Mittal, we have seen that when the Pakistani ambassador got up and he wanted to shake hands with Dr. Mittal, he just did namaste and he refused to shake the hands. And this is the point we got to know that, wow, it's going to be great here something. And here, like hearing the Mr. Senior Counsel Harish Salve is a great pleasure for us being here. And okay. We have witnessed the history.
You are a practicing lawyer. And you saw, come this side so that we can get you better. You're a practicing lawyer in the Supreme Court of India. What was it like watching, law being discussed here at the International Court of Justice?
See, India was asking for provisional measures here. Under the ICJ rules, the provisional measures can be given only when there is a prima facie case made out, which India has shown to be before the ICJ on the first day of hearing, and we have successfully made it out. There were two objections raised by Pakistan which were definitely unreasonable. That was like one jurisdictional issue, and there was a lack of urgency issue. Unfortunately for Pakistan and fortunately for India, the ICJ has clarified that definitely it has a jurisdiction under Article 36 of the Vienna Convention.
True. And the urgency, sir, I would request you to step this side. The urgency. Kulbhushan Jadhav could have been hanged in Pakistan. Pakistan gave India absolutely no assurance that they will not hang him, and that is what showed there was urgency in this matter.
This is the biggest mistake Pakistan did. if they had given a fixed date around August that they would hang him in August on so-and-so date.
No, God.
Okay, let me go from The Hague straight across to Salman Khurshid, now joining me, former Minister for External Affairs. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Khurshid. You yourself are a student of international law. Do you believe that this is round one clearly to India, and to that extent, a major hurdle has been caused in this, has been crossed in our battle to save Kulbhushan Jadhav? Do you believe now that the ICJ is the best forum where we can expect relief for Kulbhushan Jadhav, not just stay of the sentence as has been done today, but hopefully he's released one day?
Most certainly, I think we are moving in the right direction, and I do compliment the government for having put together a team that's been outstanding, led by Mr. Harish Salve. I think it's been an outstanding team. They've done an outstanding job. There were some worrying moments, but I think that all that the clouds have cleared, and we have a clear interim order. Of course, there are more things to happen in future. I do sincerely hope and pray that Pakistan will see the light and comply with the expectations and the directions that have been given.
Do you have any fears on that count? Do you believe that Pakistan, we've been discussing this in the studio, could use this as an opportunity to walk out of the ICJ and say that we are not going to respect this judgment? Is that really possible for Pakistan?
Well, I mean, you know, Pakistan has got itself isolated in the past in the Commonwealth and elsewhere. You can't be certain, can't predict for sure what exactly will happen. But something tells me that they cannot afford to do dramatic things of that nature. I don't believe that it's worth their while to do it in this case, certainly. And I would think that all this will line up in favor of Kulbhushan Jadhav, and not only will he remain safe, but that he will finally come home.
What do you believe, Mr. Khurshid, strengthens India's case? Does it show that that when India argued this case, they seemed to demand the concept of natural justice, the right to be heard, the right to be given all the due processes due for any citizen. And that was something that Pakistan consistently denied. Consular access was denied. A summary trial took place in 4 days. Do you believe that in the international eyes today, India's case has been strengthened and Pakistan looks like a country where military courts do not give their citizens, forget about their citizens, but even Indian citizens, any notion of the due process of law?
Well, absolutely. I think that not only do we have established a very good case against Pakistan and its system, but in contrast, I think there is obviously an implicit statement about how adequate our own systems are, that how careful and compliant we are with international standards in our own country. But we must keep in mind that everybody, including friends of Pakistan, will watch us, and therefore we must be absolutely careful that never will a moment arise in which accusations could be made against us. Today we stand on a very good footing. We stand I think in very good light as far as the world is concerned. Let's build on this, because I think our moral superiority to Pakistan is becoming apparent, but it must be consolidated. We must take it much further.
I want to just hold you, because there's a statement. The first reaction has come now from the Pakistani Foreign Office, and this is what Pakistan is saying. Clearly, Pakistan is remaining belligerent. They say we will expose the true and real face of India to the world. India did not give a credible response to Pakistan. India and Pakistan have an agreement related to consular access. We have asked India to give us access to the facilitators of Jadhav in India. We do not accept the jurisdiction of ICJ in cases related to Pakistan's national interest. A declaration was submitted before ICJ during March on the same. ICJ has given such decisions at least 3 times in the past. KC Singh, this is the fear that one had, that Pakistan will actually get belligerent and say that we will not submit to the jurisdiction of India, of the ICJ in cases that involve their national security. Is this simply trying to play to the gallery, or do you believe that there is something to be worried about?
I think they're placating their army which has conducted the trial. They're playing to the gallery. You've seen the criticism in the newspapers coming up.
Yeah, you were reading out what the Dawn has said.
Shahrir Rahman has said that we shouldn't have argued it like this. It wasn't a jurisdictional matter. We should have taken up the terrorism issue. So there'll be many voices from the opposition in Pakistan. They'll come up with that. But the test will be when the trial begins, whether they come and join the trial or do they boycott it.
Can I go to Ajaz Saeed, Pakistani journalist, joining me at the moment. Ajaz, Pakistan, instead of accepting the judgment with some dignity, instead now seems to be getting belligerent once again. What explains this? Is this, as KC Singh suggests, simply an attempt to publicly placate the army, which today is grossly embarrassed?
Well, this is not a matter of civilian government or army. This is Pakistan and India in ICJ. And everyone knows that Mr. Kulbhushan Jadhav was playing like a terrorist in Pakistan, and he was arrested from Pakistan. This is a fact. It's same like when when India arrested a non-state actor, Mr. from in Mumbai case in India.
No, one minute. You know, this is the problem, and that is why I was telling my producer, let us not get Pakistani voices, sir, at a sensitive time. Producer, you know, now let us not go to a case likening it to 2611. Let's focus on the case at hand. You are now talking of a kasab, someone caught red-handed in a terror operation with Kulbhushan Jadhav, who you have not provided the evidence in the public domain. I will accept the view that he was a terrorist or involved in spy activities if the evidence is provided. Let's not make this about India, Pakistan, tutu moment. Let us make this about what's happened. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to strip. We are having a problem with the audio line, but this is not an occasion to get into a tutu meme, sir. Please, let's focus on the law of the land as given by the ICJ. General Sehgal, you're joining us, you're nodding at the moment. The fear, of course, I have is this will get into competitive nationalisms. And Pakistan nationalism, which has been hurt today by the ICJ, is resulting in the kind of belligerent response that we are seeing.
The reaction from Pakistan is on expected lines. They have absolutely no grace whatsoever. They were fully aware of the fact that India has come up with a masterstroke. Are going to ICJ just took them by totally surprise. The body language of Barrister Qureshi indicated loud and clear that Pakistan was on the back foot. Twice during the presentation of his arguments, he rang up Islamabad for advice, which clearly indicates that they had no case. In each and every aspect of ours, the International Court of Justice has upheld India's point of view, and as far as Pakistan is concerned, every single issue that they took up has been rejected loud and clear. It's a huge loss of face for the Pakistani army as well as the ISI, and as far as I'm concerned, it must be a matter of great glee for the Pakistani civil dispensation.
Is it therefore, though, on the merits, Kapil Sangha, purely in legal terms, the merits have not been gone into at this stage? It was largely on procedural terms in the context of the Vienna Convention, in context of protocols which both countries have signed up to.
And jurisdiction.
And questions of jurisdiction. Therefore, there are some who are suggesting, let us not prematurely celebrate. Let's see this as an important first step in the battle to save Kulbhushan Jadhav.
A huge hurdle has been crossed. Imagine if the matter would not have been admitted and would have been thrown at the threshold on the aspect that there is no jurisdiction, right? So therefore, it's a huge hurdle that has been crossed, and the court has given its mind to you today that it has the jurisdiction, albeit prima facie. It will get into the issues of whether Article 36 is applicable or not, and about the issue pertaining to the bilateral treaty.
Can I in that sense take it to Salman Khurshid? Mr. Khurshid, one final word before you leave us, and I want to ask the political question here. This is an issue which in the past, foreign policy, there was a time had a bipartisan consensus. In recent times, that consensus has broken down. A Kulbhushan Jadhav case provides a window of opportunity for the government and opposition to speak in one voice. Therefore, are you willing to openly endorse Narendra Modi and Sushma Swaraj going to the ICJ and saying, let's today salute the government for what they have done?
Listen, Rajdeep, there is no question but of standing by the government on an issue of such important national interest. We have said this repeatedly, we say it again. In this moment, it's important to stand and applaud and to support what the government has done thus far and will hopefully continue to do. It was obviously a very tough decision. It was a complicated decision. Everything must have been considered, and then this decision was taken to proceed to the ICJ. Having said that, we must anticipate all kinds of things that Pakistan is capable of doing and has done, and their immediate response is indicative of what they intend to do. We have to fight this battle across the world. We have to fight this battle in every UN agency, and we must be prepared for that. We shouldn't just sit back on our laurels. Even in this, the matter has to go much further. We have to be vigilant, we have to be careful, and we must get this to its logical conclusion. As of now, we certainly think the government can duly accept congratulations for having come thus far. There are many other questions that may come. There will be another time for it.
That's a very mature response, and I appreciate your giving us that, Salman Khurshid. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me take a break at this point. As we head into it, listen in to the various reactions that are coming in from the Attorney General to other lawyers and diplomats and politicians. At a moment like this, it's time to stay united. Back in a moment.
Judgment is concerned, it is certainly binding on both the states, because the final decision will decide the ultimate question of jurisdiction. So there is no question of saying that it is not binding on one or the other. I hope consular access should be given, because non-grant of consular access according to the Vienna Convention is one of the main points in this case, apart from the fact that there was no real trial. So I hope Pakistan sees sense, comes back on track. The Indian government strand was really based on truth and justice and respect for human rights. All these things have been seen in the correct perspective by the International Court, and I think it's a pat on the back for India and its team.